Heya, heya, see below. Heya, heya, storm wind blow.
Chapter 15. Uncle Treehead. Tavaro woke because the spar bit him. That seemed unfair. A man could survive the 9 more, kill an old healer, chase a fleet that hated him, fight Vadrok the Crownback, get dragged under open sea, break several useful parts of his own body, and be swallowed by a storm without the world needing to add rude wood to his ribs. The spar pressed into the broken place again. Tavaro opened one eye. The sky above him was wrong, too blue. No storm, no black wall, no rain hammering the sea flat. No lightning walking the clouds, no far-bound horns, no green light from Senara's staff, no Vadruk laughing under the water, just blue sky, high sun, and a gull sitting on the other end of the spar. The gull looked at him with the calm contempt of a bird that had never murdered anyone and wanted credit for it. Tavaro licked salt from cracked lips. "Do not start," the gull screamed. "Yes, I am aware." His voice came out like reef stone dragged over a wound. The gull screamed again. Tavaro considered throwing the spar at it, remembered he was clinging to the spar, and decided mercy suited him. He tried to lift his head. His body declined, not dramatically, no grand collapse, no heroic groan. It simply refused the request with the blank patience of a barred door. So he lay there, half across the spar, half in the water, letting the sea rock him like a mother with a poor memory. The child mark burned beneath the ruined rib binding. Tavaro closed his eye again. "You waited until I woke?" Warmth, kind, cruel, very efficient. The mark pulsed. I know. There was no need to ask what it knew. Oren against the wall, Lapo holding him, Senara with blood on her feet and the rootstaff in her hand. The guide boat vanishing into Vadruk's mouth, the fleet swallowed by storm, his own hand lowering from the wrist seam above the harbour, choosing not to close the gate, his own hand later drawing the skybone line anyway, his own hand striking Oren, his own hand taking the second dose from Senara's packet and swallowing it because anger had felt clean, his own hand. Tavaro looked at it. The right wrist had opened again. The seam where the skybone line lived gaped under torn skin and salt-dried blood. The line had returned inside him sometime after Vadruk withdrew, or after the storm took him. He did not remember. The sheath around it throbbed like something alive and angry under flesh. The left hand still held the broken vial disc. He stared at it. Senara had pressed the clay into his palm and told him a hand could open. He had cracked it in the root house, while failing to open his. Now the disc sat split across his palm, the pressed vial hand broken through the center, a symbol with timing. "Very artistic," Tavaro whispered. The gull pecked at the spar. "Do not eat that. It may be load-bearing." The gull ignored him. Tavaro tried to laugh. The ribs stopped it halfway and turned the rest into a cough. Blood colored his spit and vanished into the water. Good. His lungs still cared enough to complain. He needed to find the fleet. He tried to lift his head again. This time his body allowed it. Perhaps out of pity. Perhaps because the spar had annoyed it too. The horizon turned in a slow circle around him. Blue water, empty water, swell after swell. No sails, no wreckage nearby, except the spar. One broken crate, and a strip of green cloth floating too far away to be useful or merciful. No fleet, no direction. The sun sat high enough to insult navigation. The storm had dragged him somewhere, spun him, dropped him, and gone on to ruin other lives. He could wait for night and stars. He could call the whale mark. If his ribs wanted to become a public joke, he could call Hawk and fall at once, which would save time. He could drown. That plan had several flaws, the first being that he had never liked giving the sea satisfaction. The child mark warmed weakly. Tavaro rested his forehead on the spar. "I am thinking." The gull hopped closer. "I am thinking around you." The water below him changed, not by much. A small shift in pressure, a current that did not belong to the surface. The spar tilted east, then south, then still. Green light moved far beneath the water. Tavaro's fingers closed around the spar. No, the green line below him brightened. It was not the root staff. Not exactly. The staff had pressed certainty into rooms, crowds, grief, and tired hands. This light moved through water like root through soil, branching and thinning, patient under pressure. A road. Sonara had seen it. He knew without knowing how. The staff had shown her a road through the storm. She would have hated it. She would have used it if bodies demanded use. Sonara could distrust a tool with one hand and hold a life with the other. The green light under Tavaro's spar pulsed. Invitation? No, Tavaro said again. The current tugged. The spar began to move. Tavaro dug his left hand into rough wood and his right hand into water, as if he could argue with an undersea road by clutching debris and bleeding. I said no. The current strengthened. The spar slid over the sea. Not fast, not like a boat. Like something beneath him had decided his direction and had great confidence in its manners. Tavaro looked down into the water. The green road branched beneath him, soft and steady. Beyond it, deeper, the sea darkened into a bowl of shadow. The more deep pressure lived there, old and patient. Yet the green did not recoil from it. It entered the dark and made it visible. That should have comforted him. It did not. His hand drifted toward the sky-bone seam. The child mark burned. I know. No line. I am simply having a relationship with bad impulses. The burn sharpened. He lowered his hand. The green road pulled him onward. Hours passed, or minutes, or some cruel number between them. Time at sea became slippery when pain and thirst took turns holding the mind. The gull abandoned him early, proving itself the wisest creature in the chapter of water, currently pretending to be his life. Tavaro drifted between waking and fever thought. Oren sat at the far end of the spar, with his broken shoulder wrapped in green leaves. You hit harder than necessary, Oren said. I noticed. You often notice after. Yes. Oren looked down at the water. Bad habit. You are dead, Tavaro said. Be quieter. I was quiet. After the third blow, Tavaro's stomach turned. The vision vanished. The spar rocked beneath him. Green light still moved below. Later, Lapo clung to the opposite side, soaked and young, fever salt at his lips. I asked for you, Lapo said. I know. You were not there. I know. You were there for him. Tavaro opened his mouth. Vadruk's laugh came out instead. The vision vanished. He vomited seawater, bile, and nothing. The child mark warmed. Do not comfort me, he rasped. It makes me worse. The mark stayed warm. Worse then. The current deepened toward evening. The green road below him widened, and the water around it stilled. Fish appeared at the edges, small silver shapes, then longer dark ones, then pale blind things that should not have risen near daylight. They swam beside the road, without crossing it. One brushed the underside of the spar and fled, as if it had tasted him. Fair. Tavaro tasted awful to himself. At sunset, the horizon changed. Not with land, with absence. The sea ahead sank into a darker color. No reef broke the surface. No island stood. No birds circled. Yet the water seemed to bow inward around a great hidden place, as if the world had taken a wound and learned to keep it under skin. The green road led straight toward it. The skybone line woke under Tavaro's wrist. Not pain this time. Recognition. Tavaro forced his head up. His body shook from the effort. What is that? No one answered. Then the water opened. Again. Not dramatically. No whirlpool. No roaring gate. The surface parted beneath the spar in a circle of green light, and Tavaro dropped. He did not have enough air to scream. The sea closed over him. Cold seized his ears, his open wrist, the broken ribs, the torn calf. Every place Vadruk and his own choices had left a mark. The spar spun away above him. Tavaro kicked once. Pain burst bright. The green road wrapped around his body like light pretending to be root. He sank, or was pulled. Hard to argue while drowning. He reached for the whale mark. Nothing. His body had no strength to carry a shape that large. He reached for shark. A twitch, then failure. Hawk would be comedy. Beetle would be useless, unless he wanted to die smaller. The skybone line pulsed. The green around him pulsed back. Tavaro's lungs burned. The child mark flared against his ribs. Then the water vanished. He landed on white, not sand, not cloud, not stone. White. It stretched in every direction, flat and bright and empty enough to insult imagination. Tavaro lay on his side, coughing water that struck the ground and disappeared without wetting it. He coughed until his whole body shook. When he finally dragged air into his lungs, it was not sea air. It smelled of green bark after rain, hot stone, and distant fire. He pushed himself up on one elbow. His wounds had followed him. How generous! The wrist seam still gaped. The ribs still screamed. The calf still bled. The veiled disc lay in 2 pieces near his hand. No spar, no sea, no gull. A figure stood several paces away. Small, at first sight, almost slight, wrapped in a dark cloak that did not stir, though no wind moved. A deep hood hid the face. From within the hood rose antlers, or branches, or something older than either, dark and many-pronged, each tip holding a small green flame. Tavaro stared. The figure did not step closer. Good. Am the first dead? Tavaro asked. No, try not to sound disappointed. I am not disappointed. Then you need practice. The green flames at the antler tips flickered. You are Tavaro of the Far Wake. I have been accused. First oathbound, frequently island razor. Less useful here. Murderer. Tavaro's breath stopped. The white emptiness seemed to tilt around him. The figure did not move, did not offer mercy, did not make Oren's death into fog, fate, possession, or necessary sacrifice. You killed Orenvile, the figure said. The staff pressed. Your line answered. The medicine thinned your hand. Fear did the rest. None of that moves the blow. Tavaro looked down. The broken vial disc waited near his palm. He had expected defense, or accusation, or the strange green certainty that made a person's worst choice feel chosen by the world before it. This was worse. It was exact. You dragged me out of the sea to say that. I brought you here because you are sinking. In life? Morally? Geographically? All 3. Tavaro laughed. It hurt. Even in this white place, it hurt. The figure stepped closer. Tavaro's right hand twitched toward the skybone seam. Do not, the figure said. The command was gentle. Tavaro hated that he obeyed. Before deciding to, the figure stopped at the distance. A healer might choose, close enough to see breath, far enough not to crowd the wound. You are not my prisoner, the figure said. Not here. Where is here? Between your body and my reach. My body? In the water. Drowning? Near enough. That seems urgent. It is. Then speak faster. I have been trying. You began with murder. Poor bedside manner. You respond badly to comfort. Comfort lies. Not always. Enough. The figure inclined its hood. I am Pyranth. Tavaro stared at him. The name moved through the white place. Not loudly. Names of gods often wanted the world to bow around them. This one entered quietly and stayed. The root, Tavaro said. One name for part of me. The staff was yours. Yes, Oren was yours. No. Tavaro's hand closed around the broken disc. Pyranth's antlers dimmed by a fraction. He was never mine. You gave him the staff. I gave him a road. You gave him a stick that made doubt feel like betrayal. Yes. The answer landed too fast. Tavaro blinked. You admit that? Yes. Try lying. I am more accustomed to it. The wound was real. The answer still harmed. That sounds like Senara. She is often correct. Tavaro's throat tightened. The white world sharpened at the mention of her. He saw Senara on the lead deck, rein in her hair, rootstaff in hand, refusing certainty with both feet planted on boards slick with blood. He saw her in the root house, telling him his apology had nowhere to go. "Do not," he said. Pyranth's hood tilted. "Do not what?" "Say her name as if you know her." "I did not say her name." "You thought it loudly." For a moment, the green at Pyranth's antler tips flared, then steadied. "The near gods chose strangely," he said. "They chose a baby sinking in the sea. Their standards were emotional. They chose a child who could hear silence and move before anyone else heard it." Tavaro stared at him. There it was, not praise, worse, recognition. He had been called many things. Island raiser, first oathbound, tide breaker, murderer, beautiful cage, unwanted son, necessary, useful, savior. Few had named the quiet before the act. Pyranth had. Tavaro looked away before wanting it showed on his face. "You speak like someone selling expensive poison." "I am asking for help." "That is what I said." Pyranth did not smile. Perhaps gods had better uses for faces. Perhaps he had none under the hood. Tavaro dragged himself higher. The white ground did not help. His body leaned, shook, hated him, and obeyed because it was practiced in terrible command. "The fleet," he said, "alive in part." His stomach tightened. How many? 5 vessels close together. Others scattered. Some lost. Lapo, alive. Reva, alive. Maru, cursing. A sound left Tavaro, not a laugh, close enough to hurt. Senara. Pyranth did not answer. Quickly, Tavaro's good hand went to the sky-bone seam. Pyranth said, "Alive. Holding my road and hating it. Good. Yes. Do not sound pleased. I am relieved. That may be worse. It often is." Tavaro pushed wet hair from his face. "Where are they?" "Following the green road." "Your road?" "Yes." "Will it take them to the eastern land?" "Yes." "Will it kill them?" "Some have already died." "Answer properly." "It can take them there. It cannot calm the sea. It cannot mend hulls. It cannot make grief wise. You should have told Oren that." "I did." Tavaro stared at him. Pyranth stood still. "You told him," Tavaro said. "And he sailed anyway." "Yes." "Then why?" "Because the islands were not enough." The child mark burned. Tavaro's mouth twisted. "Careful." "I am being careful." "No. You are being polite while reaching for the same wound everyone else has enjoyed today." Pyranth lowered his hood slightly. Tavaro looked away first. There were too many things in the white place. No shadows, no noise, no sea to blame. Only his body, the broken disc, the god, and the sentence Oren had left in him. Beautiful cage. Pyranth said, "I do not offer absolution." "Good. I have nowhere to put it. I offer work." Tavaro laughed once, hard and bitter. "Of course you do. You can refuse." "Can I?" "Yes." "And drown?" "Likely. Very generous." "I did say likely." Senara would have improved that answer with a cup of poison and a better expression. Pyranth's green flames flickered. Tavaro saw it. "You like her," Tavaro said. "I respect her." "Worse." "Yes." "What do you want?" Pyranth lifted one hand. The white ground between them changed. Water appeared, not real water, a shaped vision, clear as glass and deep as night. The sea floor rose within it, far below the surface, a ring of broken red stone and black ridges. Around the ring lay 7 long shapes, curled like sleeping serpents carved from mountain. Their bodies circled a lower basin where the sea itself seemed bruised. Tavaro stepped closer, despite himself. The skybone line inside his wrist pulsed. "What is that?" "A wound. In the sea. In the world. Still not a useful location." Pyranth's hand lowered. "More deep pressure gathers there. Not all of it. Enough. The 7 are Deepwardens. They were set to guard the wound before your first island rose." Tavaro studied the shapes. They did not look like more spawn. That was the first problem. Too still, too ordered. Their long bodies coiled around the basin, not as predators waiting, but as walls that had learned to breathe. Guard it from what? Opening? Use. Bad healing. That last phrase sounds like something you intend to ignore. Yes. Again, the fast honesty. Infuriating. Tavaro looked at him. "Ask. I want us to raise a city." The vision shifted. The sea floor lifted. Not a small island. not one of Tavaro's reef-ring homes. A vast mass rose from the basin, red stone and black root, terraces climbing from harbours to high ridges, channels cut through it, deep docks opened to water, towers of glass and stone caught sun that did not yet exist. Green veins ran through the rock like living memory. Bridges arched between heights. Roads curved without a single gate. No reef ring closed it. No hand could seal it from one harbour mouth. A city on the sea, not hiding from it. Tavaro forgot to breathe. Pyranth watched him. Selukar, the god said. The name settled into the vision. Selukar. Tavaro saw people there, not clearly. Shadows at first, then bodies. Children running across red stone with wet feet. Healers carrying chests through open courtyards. Sailors tying hulls to docks wide enough for storms. Women arguing over market stalls. Old men cheating at shell counters under black trees. A girl leaning over a high wall to watch rain move through a channel. Voices, smoke, food, bad singing, law tablets, grief, birth, doorways, rooms, room. He stepped back. The vision remained. No, Tavaro said. Pyranth did not move. You do not know the cost yet. I know the shape. Do you? You want the wound open, reshaped, polished word, accurate word. No, useful word. Pyranth was silent. Tavaro pointed at the 7 sleeping shapes. Those are not monsters. No. Good. I am tired of monsters. They make things too easy. They will not yield. Did you ask? Pyranth's hood turned toward the vision. Tavaro's stomach sank. Uncle Treehead. Pyranth looked back at him. The name arrived from nowhere, or from too much pain, or from the antlers. Tavaro did not regret it. The hood stilled. I beg your pardon. Denied. Tavaro, you have branches on your head. You speak like an old relative who arrived at a funeral to give advice and steal bread, and you are trying to recruit a drowning man. Uncle Treehead, I am Pyranth. Yes, serious name. Good for courts. Too heavy for drowning. I am not your uncle. Many uncles begin that way. Pyranth made a sound that might have been disbelief. Tavaro felt a laugh rise in him. Real and terrible and painful. It escaped before he could stop it. It shook him, broke into a cough, and ended with one hand pressed to his ruined ribs. The white world did not forgive him. It did not condemn him either. Pyranth's antlers flickered green. Uncle Treehead, the god said slowly. See? Natural. It is appalling. It will grow on you. I fear that is the problem. For one breath, Tavaro felt almost alive. Then the vision of Selukar moved again. The city did not sink. It breathed wrong. Its green veins brightened too hard. Its glass remembered fear. Children stopped in red streets and looked down at something below the stone. The 7 deep lights under the city flared amber, not in joy, not in peace, but in warning. Then the vision ended. Tavaro stood in the white place with blood at his wrist and the broken vial disc near his foot. What did you not show Oren? He asked. Pyranth was quiet. Say it. The wardens and the wound may learn the shape of the city. That sounds bad in several directions. It is. You gave Oren the road anyway. Yes. Tavaro stared at him. Pyranth did not defend himself. That made Tavaro angrier. Why bring me? Tavaro asked. Because you will see the wardens before striking. That is your standard? It is more than I gave Oren. The white place went colder. Tavaro took one step toward him. His body almost failed. He caught himself on nothing, and discovered nothing here could be leaned on if Pyranth allowed it. That made him angrier too. You are worse than the near gods, Tavaro said. Yes. The answer cut through the anger. Pyranth stood before him, antlers green against endless white, and did not hide from the accusation. I am, Pyranth said. I give answers. Answers are dangerous. Then stop giving them. I have tried. Poorly. Very. Tavaro wiped blood from his wrist with his thumb. It did nothing. What happens if I refuse? You may die in the water. That was already on the table. The fleet may still reach the eastern land. May, yes. And Selukar. It will not rise. Tavaro looked at the vanished place where the city had been. He did not want to see it again. He saw it anyway. Deep harbor, cuts, red terraces, no reef gate. Children not born already measuring the distance to Tavaro's hand. The child mark burn. He hated the mark for understanding before he did. Why me? Because your line can raise what I cannot touch alone, and because I am useful. Yes, at least you know how to ruin a mood, honestly. Pyranth lowered his hand. I also brought you because you know what it is to build a refuge, and learn later that refuge has teeth. Tavaro closed his eyes. Oren's voice returned. Beautiful cage. The old woman at the dock. Save them without owning them. Senara, come back without blood that is not yours. He opened his eyes. Do not dress this as my redemption. I will not. Do not call the wardens monsters. If they are not, they are not. Do not make my anger clean. No, no possession. No, no crawling into my body through my wounds. I had not planned to phrase it that way. I noticed, no calling murder courage. Never. No absolution. Pyranth's antlers dimmed. No absolution. Tavaro looked at him for a long time. The god answered every condition without insult, impatience, or green certainty, pushing against the ribs, which meant he either meant it or he was very good. Possibly both. Tavaro sighed. It hurt. Even here. I am going to regret this. Yes. Your recruitment style remains poor. You dislike comfort when it comes too quickly. You have found many things without permission. Yes. The word carried regret. Tavaro did not know what to do with that. Pyranth extended his hand. It was bare and slender, dark where the sleeve fell back, fingers long and marked with faint green lines like veins of light beneath skin. Not a claw, not a root, not a command. A hand? Tavaro thought of Senara's clay disc. A hand could open. His own hand opened. The broken disc pieces fell onto the white ground. He did not take Pyranth's hand yet. The fleet first, Tavaro said. Pyranth stilled. You keep the road under them while I do this. Yes. Senara keeps command. Yes. Not you through her. No. If she says no to the road waits. Pyranth was quiet. Tavaro smiled without warmth. There. Found the ugly part. The road may not wait safely. Neither do people. Pyranth lowered his hood. For a moment, the white place held only Tavaro's breath and the faint green flame at the antler tips. Then Pyranth said, If Senara refuses the road, I will not force her hand. Tavaro watched him. If you break that, he said, I will survive whatever comes next purely to be inconvenient. I believe you. You learn. Slowly. Good. Mortals enjoy that in gods. It makes you less punchable. I have not found that to be true. Then you are learning very slowly. Pyranth's hand remained extended. The sea returned in Tavaro's lungs. The white place shuddered. Time had begun to remember the drowning body. Tavaro looked one last time at the empty place where Selukar had stood. A city, not salvation, not forgiveness, not payment. Work, dangerous, ugly work. He took Pyranth's hand. Green fire entered him. It did not feel like the root staff. The staff had pressed certainty. This came as pressure, yes, and heat, and a terrible widening of the body's memory. It ran along the skybone line and did not heal the torn seam, only held it open without letting it tear wider. It moved through the hawk mark, whale mark, shark mark, beetle mark, each one flaring in turn. Then it reached the child mark and stopped. For one impossible instant, Tavaro felt Pyranth hesitate. The child mark burned. Pyranth's hand tightened around his. I will not touch that, the god said. Tavaro could not speak. Good, he thought. Or perhaps the mark thought it for him. The white place broke. Water slammed over him. Salt filled his mouth. Pressure gripped his ribs. The skybone line burned inside his wrist, laced now with green fire that was not his and had not pretended to be. Tavaro opened his eyes underwater. Below him lay the ring. 7 vast shapes coiled around a sunken basin. The Deepwardens slept, stone still and ancient, their long bodies half buried in black silt, their heads facing outward from the wound they guarded. Green light threaded the water around them. Not touching yet, waiting. Tavaro floated above them, too broken, too guilty, too tired, and somehow still alive. Pyranth's voice spoke in his mind, gentle as a hand that knew better than to close. There, Tavaro, that is where Selukar begins.
Hey, a blue sky burns. Hey, no sail returns. Broken spar and gull-bone cry. A man wakes under a too clean sky. The spar bit hard beneath his ribs as if the sea kept score. Tavaro opened one salt eye and found no storm, no shore, no far-bound home, no green staff like no Vadruk in the foam. Only a gull with judgment eyes and blood that knew no home. The child mark burned beneath the wrap, his split wrist throbbed with fire. Orin by the broken wall rose up through fever mire. His own hand, his own blow, no wave could wash it clean. His own hand, his own name, caught where grief had been. Uncle Treehead waits below with green flame on his crown. No pardon in the shining white, no soft way to drown. Uncle Treehead speaks the wound and does not let it bend. Work is not forgiveness, and need is not a friend. Green light moved beneath the spar, not staff, not ship, not sun. A road of roots under the sea, where all his rows had run. He said no to the pulling deep, the current answered slow. The broken wood began to slide where he refused to go. Orin spoke from feeble light, you noticed after pain. Lapo came with salt white lips, you were gone again. Uncle Treehead waits below with the green flame on his crown. No pardon in the shining white, no soft way to drown. Uncle Treehead speaks the wound and does not let it bend. Work is not forgiveness, and need is not a friend. The water opened without sound, the spar spun out of sight. He fell through green and black and cold and landed into white. A hooded shape with branch on flame stood where no wind had blown. He named the titles one by one, then named the blood alone. Murderer, the word stood bare, no staff excuse could move it. The line had burned, the fear had ruled, his hand still chose to prove it. Pyranth said, I gave a road. Tavaro said, you gave a chain. The god said, yes, the answer harmed and did not hide the stain. He asked about the far-bound fleet, alive in part, came back. Lapo lives and Reva lives, Maru curses through the black. Senanara holds the road and hates it, that made Tavaro breathe. Good, he said, then swallowed grief like salt caught in his teeth.
Uncle Treehead waits below
with green flame on his crown.
No pardon in the shining white,
no soft way to drown. Uncle Treehead speaks the wound and does not let it bend. Work is not forgiveness, and need is not a friend. And redstone rose in vision. ocean light, a city from the deep. Open harbors, black tree, rain roads, no gate could keep. Selukar, the god voice said, a room beyond his hand, a place that owed no bleeding shore, no island he had planned. But under it 7 wardens slept around an ancient scene, a womb beneath the water skin, waiting under dream. Do not call them monsters, do not make my anger clean. Do not wear me through my wounds, do not touch the child mark scene. No murder dressed as courage, no absolution. So if Sonara says the road must wait, then green waits in the cold. Uncle Treehead waits below, with green flame on his crown. No pardon in the shining white, no soft way to drown. Uncle Treehead speaks the wound and does not let it bend. Work is not forgiveness, and need is not a friend. Tavaro opened up his hand, the broken clay fell still. Green fire entered through the line and bowed before the mark's will. Water took the weight away, the deep returned its claim. 7 wardens slept below, around the world wounds flame. There the root set in his mind, where red stone waits in dark. That is where Selukar began.